Hey folks, welcome back to West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. What a night it was. Leeds United beating Chelsea 3-1 at Ellen Road. Fantastic result, excellent performance. Quite frankly, not a negative thing that I can think of. The concession of the Chelsea goal could be questioned, maybe. But when you consider who the opposition is, when you consider there wasn't a lot of time to recover after the Manchester City game, just amazing. Felt so good to be in a match, to watch Leeds in a match where they were always in it, never out of it. Daniel Farke, credit to him, he stuck with the 5-3-2/352. It worked a treat, and Chelsea didn't have answers. Chelsea did not have answers to what Leeds did. Chelsea had a period where they had a lot of possession, and that's it. Didn't matter, because when Leeds had some possession, Leeds did something with it. Scored after 5 minutes. Corner came in, taken by Stack, and what a header from Yacobiol, getting his first ever Leeds United goal, his first ever goal in the Premier League. Bullet header, really good stuff. He was like a fish out of water, like the leap he got. Excellent. And that was despite Chelsea having a couple of players on the line as well, and Sanchez, the goalkeeper, he couldn't keep it out. Just too strong. Biol did fantastic getting away from Delap, who was supposed to be marking him. Lovely run. Boom. In it goes. Really good goal. And then the second goal. Leeds' second goal. Wow. Bogle won back possession, gave the ball to Autanaka, who'd had a couple of shots previously in the game that weren't that good. My God, this was good. What a shot from Autanaka. Just rifled it into bottom corner from just outside the area. Fantastic goal. And at this point, Chelsea they were rattled, just like how Man City were rattled in the second half at the weekend. Chelsea didn't have any answers here at this point, so they made some subs at half time. The one player that did make a big difference for Chelsea was Pedro Neto. He did look like the brightest spark in the Chelsea team once he came on, and bagged himself a goal. Close range. Nothing Lucas Perry could do about it. It's not his fault. Unfortunately, Garnacho, the former Manure player, came on and also made a difference. Looked dangerous at times, coming down the wing. But ultimately, Chelsea got a goal back. But then Leeds made some subs and went up the other end. Gary Goodmanson got challenged. There was no foul given, albeit when looking at the replay it looked as if he got caught in the face a little bit, so it was a little bit of a surprise. However, his left-sided trusty partner, Noah Okafor, who'd come on as a sub, he charged down one guy, then charged down the next, then charged down Sanchez, slid in, got the ball trickled under Sanchez, and just to make sure that it went in, DCL was on hand to score the third goal. That being DCL's first goal for Leeds at Ellen Road. Outanaka's goal as well was his first goal for Leeds United in the Premier League. So there was milestones for all three scorers, which was nice. Joe Rodon also made his 100th consecutive competitive appearance for Leeds United. Yeah, great achievement. Howard Wilkinson got an award at half time as well, which was lovely to see. Still looks in decent health for his age. Yeah, no, that was really cool, really nice to see. And ultimately, just really, really bloody good. It was third top against third bottom, as it was between Leeds and Man City, I believe, as well. Actually, I think, if memory serves me right. But for 1.5 games now, Leeds have played in this 5-3-2/3-5-2, and they're making it work. The players they've got seem really adaptable to this formation. Having two up front instead of one is making a massive load of difference. We've scored 5 goals in the last 2 games, and our opponents were Manchester City and Chelsea. Okay, you can argue, well, we've conceded 4 as well, but it's 2 of those came in the adaptation period where we were still in 4-3-3. In terms of that second half against Man City, we conceded 1. In terms of the entire match against Chelsea, we conceded 1. This formation seems to work better for the players that we possess, and it's great to see. The players are playing for each other. They're playing for the manager. You can tell Daniel Farke's still got the players behind him, and he still backs those players as well. It was interesting to see that Noah Okafor can occupy like a false 9/10/attacking midfielder, if you like. I know it's not his strongest position. His strongest position is on the left wing, but he does seem to provide something coming on as a sub. And again, he is one of the 6-foot+ players. He's a big, strong lad, and obviously we know how good he is on the ball. He can be very good in possession, and just that energy that he brought when he came on, and the fact that he pressed and charged down the 3 Chelsea players, in an attempt to force an error, and in the end he forced it all right. And if it wasn't for the fact that DCL was where he was, and if it wasn't for the fact that maybe a Chelsea player could have maybe stopped the ball from going in had DCL not put it in, Noah Okafor could have ended up, having a goal there. A shout out for Lucas Metra as well, who had a fantastic shot, which resulted in a goal being disallowed though, for a marginal offside. It probably was offside, but not by much. You're talking inches. And if that goal had stood, that were another belter, absolute belter. So Lucas Metra can find himself being a little bit unfortunate to have not added to his tally for the season and keep that consecutive scoring record going. But again, the fact that he has come that close, the fact that he has come within inches of getting another goal, gives me confidence that he can keep that. He's going to keep scoring. He's going to keep having a good run this season, all being well. And again, it'll do wonders for DCL's confidence to get another goal. It'll be the easiest goal he's ever scored in his career. I could have scored it. But ultimately, it'll give him confidence, and the fact he had the chance to celebrate at Ellen Road scoring, whereas his 2 previous goals were away from home. That'll give him a lot of confidence. So yeah, no negatives at all. It takes us out the relegation zone, albeit West Ham still have to play Manure with their, so that they end up playing 14 games. But as it stands at this time of recording, Leeds find themselves in 17th, played 14, won 4, drawn 2, lost 8, scored 16, conceded 26, minus 10 goal difference, 14 points on the board, with 2 wins in our last 6, with the other 4 being losses. So, what does this mean for Leeds as far as the table's concerned? As you can see there, I mean, I'm not bothered about what's going on near the top. That doesn't affect Leeds. But as things stand at the moment, Wolves are screwed. And for me, they're going down. Gone. Done. So for me, it is still 2 relegation spots up for grabs. I'm not saying that Wolves, obviously mathematically they could still survive. Of course they can, but it's so unlikely. They haven't got the required quality. They haven't. I don't think they've got the right manager, personally. Yeah, they're doomed. Minus 22 goal difference is horrendous compared to every other team as well now. As well, if you look at it, with those, even those others with minus goal differences, Wolves is just so bad, so bad. They basically concede 2 a game and score 1 a game. That's why they don't win matches. So yeah, I do believe it's it's down to 2 relegation spots now. Burnley have gone into double figures for losses, which obviously doesn't bode well for them. 14 games played, 3 wins, 1 draw, 10 losses. They're scoring at least a goal a game. They're on 15 goals, but again they're conceding almost 2 goals a game. In fact, it's slapped back on 2 goals a game. Sorry, with 28. So again, if you can only score 1 goal a game, but you're conceding 2 goals a game, something has to change. But points wise, they're most definitely not out of it yet. They're not being cut adrift. They're on 10 points, but the form is scary. Their form now in the last 5 is identical to Wolves. Not a record that you want. Then you got West Ham, who had a very brief purple patch with 2 wins and a draw. That could change depending on what happens when they play Manure. But they've got the same as Burnley, but have got an extra draw and 2 less losses because they've got a game in hand. In 13 games they've scored 15 but conceded 27, so again it's very similar goal differences, isn't it, between Burnley, West Ham and Leeds. This whole scoring 1 but conceding 2 per game. But I do have a little bit of confidence with Leeds, with the way that they've played in the last 1.5 games, that will obviously change very soon. Again, we are scoring more goals now and we're conceding less now. Certainly on the basis of what's happened in the last 1.5 games, which is only a very small sample size. We have to see how this goes against Liverpool and then against everybody else thereafter. But there are positive signs. So with all this being said, the important thing now, so here's the thing. West Ham have to win. They have to beat Manure by 2 clear goals for Leeds to go back in the relegation zone. I think they might draw. I think it might be a draw between West Ham and Manure. Manure's had 6 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses, so yeah, it's not beyond the realms. They score a lot, but they concede a lot. So yeah, I wouldn't say that a draw would be outlandish between West Ham and Manure. West Ham, Manure. Well, then again, though, it's at Scum Trafford, so don't know. As I say, there's a chance that West Ham get beaten. Leeds, points wise are in 17th rather than it just being on goal difference. Which as much as I never want Man United to ever win a game ever. If they do win against West Ham, it doesn't do Leeds any harm in the scheme of things, because it keeps West Ham in the relegation zone and keeps Leeds out of it, more importantly. So, I'll keep the Chelsea review, to that really, because all of a sudden now we've got to do a preview of the upcoming match against Liverpool. Liverpool currently got their first draw of the season, which is crazy to think, really. But 14 games in, they have won 7, drawn 1, and lost 6. They've scored 21, conceded 21, so they score a lot, but they concede a lot. 0 goal difference, obviously. 22 points, which, for anyone that's aspiring to be mid-table for the season, 22 points at this stage of the season is not a bad total at all. Liverpool do not aspire to be that low down, but that's where they are, because they lose games. They've lost 6. Leeds have only lost 2 more than them. In terms of wins, Liverpool have won 3 more than Leeds. And obviously draws wise is fairly similar. Leeds don't draw that many either. We've only drawn twice, and they've only drawn once. So relatively similar in those aspects. In terms of the goals for and against, 16 against 21, 26 against 21. Liverpool obviously better in both departments there. But again, in terms of recency, let's just have a look. 1-1 against Sunderland. 2-0 against West Ham. But again, it's against West Ham. Look at where they are right now. Lost 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. Lost 3-0 to Man City. Okay, it's Man City. Against Forest, though, that's a shocker. At home as well. Good God. And then they beat Aston Villa, who are currently in good form, but beat them 2-0. So, let's just have a quick look at the form guide. That's the overall form guide. But home form for Leeds United, currently 13th. We're not in terrible shape at home. Played 7, won 3, drawn 2, lost 2, scored 10, conceded 8, plus 2 and 11 points. That's not terrible. Liverpool's away form, because the match is to be played at Ellen Road. So Liverpool find themselves 8th. And again, they don't draw away from home. But they've played 7, they've won 3, but they've lost 4. So they've lost more than they've won away from home. And also they've conceded more away as well. So they've conceded 12 in 7, which is not brilliant. Scoring 10 in 7 is not bad. But conceding 12 in 7 is not great by any stretch. And a -2 goal difference for that. And 9 points. So when you look at those forms, Leeds is actually better at home than what Liverpool are away currently. That gives me a bit of hope. That really does. That really gives me a bit of hope. So, let's see what happens here. Again, that is the reality of it all, but at least, the away form for Leeds doesn't matter at this moment in time, because Leeds will be at home. Last 5 matches form. Again, Leeds won't be in that greater position because they've just had the 1 win, but they've had the 4 losses. Scored 7 but conceded 12. So there is some context there. Liverpool's form 2-1-2, so kind of mixed. Scoring 5, conceding 7. So again, their form in recent times is not that rosy. And look at that, only 3 positions separate, 13th to 16th as well. So that can be looked at in a certain amount of context. All right, you've got a 3-point difference, 4 points in fact. Sorry. But it has to be said that I think Liverpool can be beaten here. If Leeds go with that same formation, same style, same tactics, or at least very similar, we'll go with the next G thing. I don't get this, so I don't even bother usually. Again, Leeds are top half for all this kind of thing. Again, I don't really get it, so not bothered. Anyway, so let's have a look at the potential fixture. So 6:07 for 5:30. Bit of a funny. What do you call it? It's a bit of a funny kick-off time. Predicted lineups. What? Where does this predicted lineup come from? And where? I think not. Right. So this is wrong. I mean, that's right. Longstaff been out, but where's he gone? He's out. Dan James. I don't know what I'm thinking there. And 4-3-3 surely isn't going to be used. Not against this bunch. It surely can't be used. They're missing Conor Bradley, Giovanni Leone, Jeremy Frimpong, and Stefan Bacetic. I have no idea. So if that's to be believed, it's really not that big a deal. They still have most of their star players available. So with this in mind, forget those predicted lineups. That's rubbish. That ain't gonna happen. There's not a lot of wins going on here. The only win was against West Ham. That's in all competitions, by the way. So obviously there's the walloping from Eindhoven as well. And look at that. I mean, 2 3-0s and a 4-1. Ouch. That's not the form of a defending champion, is it? Absolutely not. So, what does this mean for Leeds United? Oh my god. This goes into quite a bit of detail, doesn't it? Alright, well that, as I say, that ain't gonna work. So, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's click on Leeds, go to squad. Right. I'll tell you what I think might happen. Because Daniel Farke has said there's going to be some late calls. And this is a bit of a worry. So what I'd like to see, if they're all fit enough, is Lucas Perry in goal, Jadon Bogle right back, Strout, Roden and Biol in a back three, with Strout on the left, Roden on the right and Biol in the centre. Gabby Goodmanson on the left, at left back. I think the midfield worked well. There's nothing against Gruev whatsoever, who's not done a lot wrong since coming into the midfield recently. But I would stick with Ethan Ampadu, Anton Stack and Autanaka. It just looked really good against Chelsea. Really good. And then up front, DCL and Mecha. It's funny, isn't it? 2 strikers on free transfers, and yet together as a pairing, they look dangerous. They look like they can give defences of any level a problem, which is brilliant. I mean, again, this is what we want, isn't it? So here's where the problem lies. DCL and Mecha are going to be going in for late fitness tests, which is a massive concern because these two have been brilliant. What I think might happen is I think that if those two are unavailable, I think that Joel Pirro and Noah Okafor become the strike force, if you like, which isn't ideal. It's less potent and doesn't give you the same kind of qualities that DCL and Mecha provide, but it's all we've got. The only other change that you could possibly make in midfield would be Gruev to come in for either Anton Stack or Altanaka. I don't think anybody comes in for Ampadu unless he's injured. Defensively, Bornau made his debut, albeit just for a couple of minutes. Obviously good to see him back. Hopefully he's got a good element of fitness there. If, say for example, if there is a problem with any of the defenders, then it looks as if Bornau would be suitable to come straight in and do a job. Obviously Ampadu potentially could go into the back three as well if it was required, and then obviously that brings Gruev into the mix, and you'd have those three in the midfield there, Stack, Tanaka and Gruev. Fullbacks, I mean, I don't see Sam Byram or James Justin featuring unless there's a problem with Gabby Goodmanson and Jayden Bogle. Our two first choice fullbacks have been excellent this season, especially Gabby Goodmanson. What a signing! What a bloody signing he's turning out to be. Just a bloody good player for 10 or 11 million pounds. I mean, come on, in today's market, that's a bargain. Bargain, I'm telling you. Right? It's just brilliant. He's a damn good player. He really is. I'm delighted he's doing as well as he is. Not really any doubts regarding the goalkeeper situation. Perry starts. He's getting better. Perry's getting better. He's, you know, he was constantly going long against Chelsea, and it worked. There was no dawdling around in his own penalty box. You know, this is what invites pressure when you come up against the biggest teams. You know, the ones with the most expensively assembled strike forces. You know, all this messing around, passing it around the back, all this rubbish. Don't do it. Oof the effer. You know, just get it long, get it wide, whatever you want to do, but get it away from your bloody box. And Perry's adapting to that. He's getting there. I think Lucas will be fine. I think Lucas Perry will be okay. It's just maybe taking him a little longer to adapt than some of the others. But again, that's not a criticism. As far as Farke's concerned, he's obviously given himself some extra time because he's been able to find a solution that works, or is currently working at least. It might not work against some of the teams that haven't got that quality up front, and you might find that teams start counteracting it by going 5-3-2 themselves. And then in that situation, what do? Do you stick with a 5-3-2 and then it comes down to quality? I don't know. But that's where Farke and his coaching badges come into play. But the fact that Farke has been able to find a solution, and for 1.5 games now it's worked. Yeah, I think it works again against Liverpool. Again, I don't want to put a prediction on the score. I mean, I'd say 2-1. I think I'd say 2-1 to Leeds. But again, it depends on the personnel. We desperately need DCL and Metro up front. I would have my doubts regarding Joel and Noah as a strike force. And it's more of a 1-1 rather than a 2. Because obviously Noah Okafor's, Noah's more of a winger, so he's not a natural striker. Joel Pirro is like a false 9, but he is a very competent finisher, certainly in the Championship level. Obviously hasn't made a mark in the Premier League yet. But I mean, again, when Joel and Noah came on, I mean, Noah in particular, he was busy, he was getting himself about, and he caused problems. He forced the error that created Leeds' third goal. Effectively got himself an assist, which was brilliant, and it was great work rate. It was like so busy getting around those 3 Chelsea players. it was excellent to see. Just a really good work rate. I mean, he comes on as a late sub, so you expect good energy and good work rate. But he did what was asked of him, and he was a nuisance for that Chelsea backline, which was brilliant. And I'd say even when Joel came on, Joel didn't do bad. Joel didn't look out of place. He didn't really have a chance to, to kind of trouble the Chelsea goal, but he didn't look ineffectual like he has done in the past at certain times. So I would hope, and the thing is as well, players like Wilfred Gnonto, he can be a bit of a nuisance as well. Maybe, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to put Okafor and Gnonto as your front two. Like you don't, Gnonto's a very short player. He's not gonna. I mean, he's built like a ball, but he's not. But he's not going to have that height. And then Perrault's kind of he's a bit of a funny build, is Perrault. Like, he's not built gigantic. He's not built like a Gnonto or even a Dan James either. He's somewhere in between, and it's almost like that he's average build, if you like. Not blessed with pace. But when given the chance, he knows where the goal is. So, yeah, a difficult situation if we're missing those two. And again, we don't want to be missing key players, especially in the defensive areas. It's going to be bad enough that we might not have our front two, but it's going to be even worse if we have to start breaking up this defence. This back five of Gudmundsson, Biol, Roden, Strauch, and Bogle looks very capable, very, very capable. I wouldn't want to break that up at the minute. After what I've seen in the last game and a half, I wouldn't want that to change. So yeah, that's about that, folks. Just kind of cramming the Chelsea review and the Liverpool preview into one video here, due to the quick turnaround of matches. But yeah, as I say, when you go through that squad, it must be draining on the players when they've been used to just playing once a week, and then they've got 3 games in the space of a week, from weekend to weekend, and it's against 3 of the rich 6. You're having to work your rollocks off. Of which they are doing. I mean, it's not been down to a lack of effort in previous games. They are trying, and they're being competitive. But now we've found a solution that can actually get us points. It's such a positive feeling. I've watched some of the other content creators with their match reviews of the Chelsea game. Like, there's not one of them that doesn't have a smile on their face. And why would they not be happy? Why would they not be happy? We're all Leeds fans, and yeah, I mean, watching that match was just so much fun. Seeing how good we were. I mean, I was so concerned when Metcher and Calvert-Lewin went down injured at times. That worried me, because we need them. They are so important to what we're doing, and Chelsea are known to be a dirty team at the moment. And that was the case. I mean, Esteval just basically kicked out at Gudmundsson after Gudmundsson robbed him of possession. Probably should have been sent off for that, because it was so blatant, so obvious. And silly shit like that can injure players, and it's not right. You shouldn't be going out to deliberately injure a player, and that's what Esteval tried doing. I don't care if he's a kid or not. Like, send a little shit off. You shouldn't be doing it. Because even after it, he's there at the ref going, no, you shouldn't be doing it. Like, no, that's what I say to you, Esteval. You want to deliberately foul a Leeds player? Off. Sod off. Get off that Ellen Road turf. And never return. You know what I mean? Thankfully Gabby got up and continued the match, and Goodmanson was so good last night. Like, so damn good. I mean, the front two, brilliant. The defence, that was easily Beale's best performance, because as well as his goal, he was so good defensively as well. I can't think of anyone having a bad game. Even the subs that came on late, like even Bornau. Bornau was on just for the added on time, and again, like he didn't have a right lot to do, but he didn't do out wrong. He dwarfed over Garnacho, which was hilarious. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I'm delighted. I'm delighted for everyone involved at Leeds United after what they did against Chelsea there. I laughed at I don't watch him often, but I saw Rory Jennings' reaction because he is a Chelsea fan, and he berated Maresca for underestimating Leeds United. He said that Leeds is one of Chelsea's main rivals, and you put out a lineup that wasn't ever going to be strong enough. A lineup that wasn't going to deal with the Leeds atmosphere. He says that Leeds' atmosphere at Ellen Road is one of the most intimidating that Chelsea will ever come up against, and that basically all the good work that had happened in the previous couple of games was just for nothing. So he felt sick as a parrot, which was great to see. Jason Cundy, who's one of the pundits on TalkSport, he's a known Chelsea fan, even though he's played for both Chelsea and Spurs. But he really doesn't like Spurs, or he doesn't seem to. He's full-on Chelsea fan, and he came out with a load of crap saying, "I hope Leeds get relegated." Blah blah blah. Shut up, Cundy. There was a Leeds fan that called up in the traditional fashion that Cundy likes to do. He was like, "Has anybody seen Jason Cundy?" Like, no. Where is he? And they even had a pit, they had Dean Saunders in Cundy's seat, and had Cundy looking like a right pillock in a picture frame. They literally called Cundy up, and so Jamie O'Hara's there, who's diehard Spurs obviously, and was like, "Hey mate, what happened there?" I'm like, "You got spanked." Oh yeah, it's nice seeing our rival team get beat, and then all of their fans boo-booing about it, isn't it? It's satisfying. So long may all that good stuff continue. If Leeds can produce the same kind of energy, the same desire, the same motivation, and the same good football, yes, it's long ball, yes, it's direct, yes, it's not your silky Rafinha style runs all over the pitch. You know what I mean? This is a far more, you could almost call it old style English style if you like. But with the players we've got currently, it works. And it's proven to have worked for the entirety of the last match and for 44 minutes against Manchester City. It's a no-brainer. You've got to stick with it for as long as you can. And it won't work against everybody. But I think against these so-called bigger sides, or these sides that have been more expensively assembled, you've got to stick with it. You really have. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, folks. Big thank you for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, if you haven't already. Please hit the hype button if it's still there. Please like the video as well. It really does help. Let me know your thoughts on the win against Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts ahead of the Liverpool game. Can Leeds get another win and keep ourselves out of that relegation zone despite the high level of the opposition? We've shown that we can compete against the likes of Man City and Chelsea. Can we now show that same fight and desire and motivation against Liverpool? I think we can. I think we can, as long as we've got the personnel. You know, even if we can get it, even if we can just get DCL and Mecha for the first half, and then if you have to bring Pirro and Okafor on for the second half, you know, do enough damage in the first half, get some goals, keep it tight, and then bring those two on at half time if you have to, and keep that forward thinking formation. You know, tight at the back, good up front, solid in midfield. It works a bloody treat, and I love it. That's as far as that goes. So yeah, I'll leave it there, folks. Big thank you for watching. Catch you next time. Bye for now.